Good day, Metcalfe Public School, and welcome to the MPS Daily News. Today is Wednesday, June 9th, 2021. Bonjour, Metcalfe, et bienvenue aux nouvelles MPS. Aujourd'hui, c'est mercredi, le 9 juin 2021. The news for today. Les nouvelles pour aujourd'hui. Continuing with our discussion around belonging, responsible decision-making, and executive functioning. One of the things that naturally occurs is this concept of procrastination. Putting off a task that you know needs to be completed. It's normal and should be discussed openly. Procrastination is often a default position unless you have a strategy to accomplish a task. If you find yourself procrastinating on a regular basis, work with others to try to come up with some strategies so that you can overcome that procrastination. Pride Month, our continued focus on pronouns. How is this more inclusive? Pronouns can sometimes be a signifier for someone's gender identity, but not always. We do not want to assume people's gender identity based on expression, typically shown through clothing, hairstyle, mannerisms, etc. By providing an opportunity for people to share their pronouns, you're showing that you're not assuming that their gender identity is based on their appearance. More to come tomorrow. More about Murray Sinclair. Yesterday we talked about Murray Sinclair, Senator Sinclair, being the head of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And so we're going to learn a little bit about that today. Senator Sinclair was appointed to the chair of the Indian Residential Schools Truth and Reconciliation Commission in June 2009. The commission's mandate, the commission's purpose, stemmed from the terms of the Indian Residential School Settlement Agreement as a means by which residential school survivors and former staff could inform all Canadians about what happened in the Indian residential schools and document the accounts of survivors, former staff, families, communities, and anyone personally affected by the Indian residential school experience. The TRC, as it is known, held hundreds of public and private hearings throughout Canada and documented over 6,000 statements of survivors and more than 200 from former staff, all of which led to the Commission's massive multi-volume final report released in November 15th, 2015. The report documented the history of residential schools in Canada, noting that the Government of Canada had legally mandated the forcible removal of children from their families and communities in order to move them from the cultural influence of their parents, families, and communities. The schools were established to force Indigenous children to stop speaking their unique languages or following their unique cultural beliefs and practices, and adopt a Euro-Canadian culture and language. The major finding of the report was that Canada established and maintained its forcible removal and residential school policy for the primary purpose of eliminating Aboriginal cultural and racial identity, and led to its conclusion that Canada had committed what is known as cultural genocide. These are big concepts, but they're so relevant for what is happening with our Canadian society today. Take opportunities during this National Indigenous Month to discuss some of these concepts and discuss the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report and the calls to action. It's the calls to action that we're going to talk about tomorrow. Moving on with our announcements today. Once again, we'll be arranging for students to come and pick up any personal belongings that they may have left behind when we left for spring break. We're waiting for some more information from the board, but it's my understanding that we will be able to have this happen as early as next week. This is a reminder to our grade 8 students that your leaving ceremony videos are due to your teacher on the 11th. Also, I've had some questions. It is far better to not have voice and have text instead in your videos, because when we overlay any music, your voice is going to be very difficult to hear. All right, our CanCon edition for today. Did you know that there are 11 subspecies of Canadian geese? The 4 smallest species are called the cackling geese. Canadian geese can be found throughout many major cities, which is odd, and can be quite quite feisty if they feel threatened. In fact, it's quite funny watching my daughter, who has been accosted, attacked by a geese at one point when she was little, is quite fearful of a Canada goose. This Friday is Fluorescent Day. Wear your brightest colors and show your spirit. Happy birthday wishes to Winston in our grade 7-8 EFI class, or MFI class, I'm sorry. That's our announcements for today. Merci et bonne journée. Thanks and have an outstanding day, Metcalf.